back again, Pavy Daily Takes. I was gonna do one about Jason Tatum and about his progression or whatever this season because I do think he'll have a breakout year this year. But that can wait for tomorrow. KD just released an article with Chris Haynes released an article of him meeting with KD and talking with KD, and basically KD kind of cleared the air about things, said that he doesn't blame the Warriors for his injury. Also about why he wanted to leave and things of that nature. First off, I want to say that KD won't get credit for it, but he's probably handled this situation and it didn't end, like this whole transition away from Golden State, as best as anybody could have handled it. He even gave the team a chance to rebuild when you like agreed to the sign and trade, which is something he had to agree to. So he's handled this situation about as best as he possibly can. Like, he won't get credit for it, but for everything that everybody says about Kevin Durant, says he's all type of weird, he's this, he has this type of personality. Like, I think he's shown the utmost class in this situation, the utmost respect for the Warriors organization, and he just seems to be a really, like, he's handled this situation like any kind-hearted person would handle this situation. Now, I've been the main one criticizing the Warriors, talking about his injury, and that doesn't stop with Kevin Durant's thing today when he said, hell no, he doesn't blame the Warriors. I understand why he wouldn't blame the Warriors. I mean, like, look, players always want to play. Like, he's a player. He said he was targeting Game 5. He wanted to play in Game 5. He said he thought he felt healthy enough, and these things just happen in basketball, and I 100% agree. Players always want to play. My whole thing with blaming the Warriors organization for it had nothing to do with KD playing, like, at all. Like, zero to do with KD playing. But it was just the circumstances that led up to KD playing that I didn't really like. For one, I think when he got hurt, they should have ruled him out indefinitely. Because you just put the player in a bad spot when you don't do that. For one, like, let's say, KD doesn't play. He gets ruled out indefinitely, then he doesn't play. They lose, kind of like in the same way that they lost, same fashion that they lost. Clay going down, Looney being out there beat up with bad ribs, and he doesn't play and he just leaves. Then that would probably be one of the more damaging things for his image in the public eye. Now, granted, I don't know if he cares about that, but that would be a very damaging thing for his image in the public eye. That would look like, basically, he's not fully invested, like, he doesn't really care, like, he's putting himself first if he doesn't play. And then, obviously, when you don't rule him out, then you go down 3-1. Everybody's looking at you like, yo, where you at? Like, come play. Like, our guys are hurting. Come play, let's figure this thing out. Sorry about that, guys. Let me actually turn my... All right, back. But then it makes it look like I said, like, he... everybody's looking at you like, yo, like, come back and play. I thought that from the first time he got hurt, that they should have just ruled him out indefinitely. Now, indefinitely doesn't mean that you're never going to play. It just means that... we don't know when you're going to play. Like, there's no real timetable on your return. And I think that, obviously he says that he was always targeting, Game 5, but I still think that the Warriors put him in a lose-lose situation. Obviously, you want to get on the court and play, but I just think they could have, again, handled the situation that led up to those events better. They're even doing it with Clay's injury. Like, I don't even like how they're handling Clay's injury. I think I saw a report before Clay had even had surgery, like, yeah, we're targeting, like, they were talking about a timetable for Clay's return before the man had even had surgery. I'm like, yo, just rule him out indefinitely. Like, this is the same mistake the Bulls made with D Rose. They didn't rule him out indefinitely. So then when D Rose doesn't play, now the media is looking at everybody like, yo, like, Derek, we got a championship team, like, go, and the player isn't 100% healthy. I always think I'm a proponent of when somebody gets an injury that you don't it could be serious. Just rule them out indefinitely. Say, you know what, we don't have any timetable. We don't know. Even like when I cover the Sparks, right? So I love the way that they pretty much handle players' injuries. Like when Maria Vadia, she was hurt. She had a knee injury. They just ruled her out indefinitely. Like I thought she like tore something in her knee the way it said indefinitely. I thought the injury was way worse than what it was. but she's back on. She missed one game and then came back on the court. I think that just the word indefinitely protects the player because it doesn't put them in a compromising position. And I think that the Warriors put KD in a very compromising position, knowing the history that KD has, not really with the franchise, but with all the media and the talk surrounding the franchise. I didn't think the Warriors did the best by him in that situation. Now, granted, you can't stop a man from getting hurt, right? If he goes out there and plays, like if you rule him out indefinitely, he goes out there and plays and, tears his Achilles, whatever. Like, not whatever, but you can't control injury. Like, if that was something that was going to happen, then that was just something that was just going to happen regardless. And there's nothing that you can really do about that. Like, it's just basketball. Sometimes these things happen in basketball, and that's what, KD said. But still, again, I would just much rather, I would have liked the language about his injury instead of saying, oh, it's a 2-week injury. Oh, no, it's 4 weeks. Oh, well, he might play in this series. Oh, he might get back on the court for game 2. Oh, he might get back on the court for game 3. Especially if you knew that game 5 of the finals was like the target return date, then I don't just see why you didn't literally just rule him out indefinitely, and then when a man is healthy enough to play, you let him play. But when you don't do that and you don't rule somebody out and you keep like a glimmer of hope out there that somebody is going to play, not saying that, he wouldn't have played if you didn't do that, but you still kind of sort of pressure somebody into playing. And this, again, not saying that he wouldn't have played. Basketball players are basketball players. They always want to play. And I know people, we actually got into an argument on Twitter saying they didn't really have any leverage. Like, obviously you don't. Like, if he wants to play, he's pretty much going to play. And it's a contract year. Like, whatever. You don't really have leverage. But still, what you can do is control the verbiage around the injury and control the talk and the narrative, and get out ahead of the narrative around the injury. Like, look, if he wants to rehab, let him do all that stuff in silent. Rule the man out indefinitely, and it is what it is. We don't know when he's coming back. But like I said, when you don't do that and you keep trying to push the date back, and then you see Clay get hurt, come back and play the next day. You see Looney break his ribs, come back and play the next day. You see your team fall down 3-1. And pretty much you like the secret weapon, the mercenary that's back there, like you're our big gun, and everybody's looking at you like, yo, what's up? Especially on a contract year. If he would have left and never played, I think that would have been a huge stain in many people's eyes, his resume, and I don't think that it would have sat well in the Bay ever. If he just would have left like that. Again, I think that the day KD became a Warrior, in a lot of people's eyes, was when he tore his Achilles. I really do, because that showed just heart and showed that you really, really cared about, again, to people, not to the team, not to the players on the court, not to the guys who you spend more time with them than you do your actual family, but to the fans, media, other people that don't know, people who don't see, in the locker room, people who aren't behind those doors. I think to them, it showed them like, oh, okay, he cares. Like he gave something in blood, so now we know he cares. I think that, that like that's what it showed those people. But again, I still don't think they did right by Kevin Durant at all. And again, it had nothing to do with him playing. I have no issue with the man playing. Like, do I think he probably should have sat out? Yes, I do. But you can't control that. But my issue is just with how it was handled and with the narrative. The fact that they didn't try to control the narrative, and they kind of put him in a lose-lose situation when they didn't rule him out. And rule him out indefinitely. Because again, indefinitely doesn't mean you're not going to play. It just means that we don't know when you're going to play. Again, that's one thing I would always love to compliment the Sparks about. Like, they do a very good job of protecting their players. Like, they'll just say, hey, I don't have any further information at this time. We don't know. We'll be great to have them back when we get them back. But right now, I don't know. They're out indefinitely. I get all the, press releases. Sometimes it just says indefinitely. Like I said, the Maria thing, it just said indefinitely. It said indefinitely for like a week. And then she pops back up and she's 100% fine. I mean, with some ice on the knee, but she seems to be 100% fine. But when you put indefinitely, you don't put any pressure on the player, or you don't put any pressure on their narrative that they should play immediately, especially in like a high-stakes situation like that, NBA Finals, when you're down 3-1 and you're fighting for your life. But yeah, but again, just with this whole situation, KD will never get credit for it because people just have their thoughts and they feel how they feel about KD. But I think KD has handled this Warriors situation better than anyone possibly could. And also the one thing I think people have to remember is KD's still young. I mean, like he's 30 years old now. Like that's not old, So I think that people love to criticize KD for just being a regular human being. Like, what's wrong with him being on the internet? Like, what's wrong with him wanting to have a burner account to just argue basketball with people? Like, I don't know what the issue of. I don't see an issue with that. He can't argue basketball on Twitter as Kevin Durant. So let me make this other account and argue basketball with people. And I think that people give KD too much shit a lot of times for just doing normal human things that they also do. But people think because, he's a superstar and he's in the, NBA and he's, a top 20 player ever that he shouldn't do normal people things. And again, I don't think he'll get credit for it, but I think that KD has handled this situation as best as one possibly can handle this situation. So kudos to KD for that. And the Warriors, again, still did not do right by Kevin Durant. They didn't jump in front of his narrative the way that I would like to see them do. And I hope that they don't do the same thing with Klay. I really hope that they just rule him out indefinitely. And if he pops up playing in February, he pops up playing in February. But let's not put target dates. Let's not, put speculation out. Because then what happens is, let's say the Warriors trying to make a playoff push, or, it gets down the stretch, or, you have some injuries, and then people looking at you like, yo, Klay, when you get back, when you going to get back on the court. And granted, players always want to play. He's going to be ready to go. Like, Klay's a warrior. Like, not, like, no pun intended, but Klay's an actual warrior. Like, Klay shot free throws with a torn ACL. Like, he ran back on the court to shoot free throws with a torn ACL because you're ruled out if you don't shoot the free throws. Like, bro, you tore your ACL. You're ruled out anyway. He didn't want to come out the game with the ACL. And he's a warrior. So if you put him in that situation, he's going to go play. So I would like to see them just rule him out indefinitely. And if he pops up playing, he pops up playing. And that would just be my stance when I have players that have an injury that may take longer to heal or have a major injury. I would just rule them out indefinitely. And if they pop up playing, they pop up playing. But I wouldn't, put any timetable on it or let the media or the fans get it in their mind that this player is going to play, because that in turn indirectly puts pressure on that player to play. But Pavy's Daily Takes, I'll do my Jason Tatum column tomorrow. But yeah, talk to you guys later.